It sure
I'm the
does.
oldest one in here.
Yeah.
I might not even start. All right, good morning, Coach. Why don't
Morning.
you start us off with an opening statement, and we'll take some questions.
All right. Well, first, Veterans Day. Like to just say thank you to all the past and present military. I know that we talked a lot about it as a team just this past weekend being military appreciation, and I know that there's several of our players that parents are either in the military or retired from the military, and then we've had a couple teammates that have went on into the military that they've had in the last few years, and then with us bringing the Marines in this past summer and them getting to know those guys, and it's been something that they've really appreciated, I know, and hits home, and we talked about it a lot, but just wanted to say thank you. So we're excited to get going. It's like I told our team yesterday, it's you get to Sunday and you get through the film and you get better from the film, and then it's you wipe the board clean and you go back to work, and the process remains the same. So I think that that's the attitude we've had, and that's what we'll continue to have. We got another tough opponent in the Missouri Valley, and a road trip that there's been a lot of good battles up there between us and Western Illinois, and they've got a good team. They really do. They've had some tough games, but we've played a lot of close games with them. They came back, and we remember last year pretty vividly. They came back from 20 points down and got a win, and a lot of those same players are back. So we've just got to focus on what we can control, and that's putting together a good game plan today. It's their day off, and we got to come and got to have a great week of practice and be ready to go on the road and get another win.
I suppose you won't be flying into Macomb National Airport
No.
for this one. So how do you bus in day before? I've driven that a lot. It's just a dreary drive.
Yeah, thanks for reminding us. No, it's yeah, we'll go up the day before, same routine that it's always been, and we stay in Galesburg, and then we ride in the day of. So have about an hour drive the day of. That's kind of been our routine all season long.
I did have one question on we're fifth now in preventing third down conversions in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
How have we improved? Have we improved on second down, first down, both from last year? Is that how we've marched up to the fifth in the FCF?
Yeah, I think it's collectively. Once you put together, your week 11, I think it's a little bit of everything. You've got to be, number one, you got to get them to third down, and then you got to get off the field. And like we've said, just us offensively, when we're successful on offense, it's usually not in the third and long. So if you can create some third and long situations, the percentages are not too good, and we've been really good. Gave up a couple this weekend. We let them get out of the pocket and scramble for that 3rd and 8 that we needed to get off the field. But yeah, I think that, and it's just doing their job. I think it's finishing on plays. Little things that I think good teams show. That's what I told our defense yesterday, is just a lot of people running to the ball, making tackles. When it's 3rd and 4 and they run the football and you make an open field tackle, a lot of times those are going for first downs. I think both Jeremy and Madre just finished on a pass breakup, as far as that they could have caught the ball and they finished to the ground and they ripped the ball out. It's an incomplete pass. And so, small things, technique things, the boring things that you got to fall in love with to be a good player is just the fundamentals, those things that you do in individual every day of those come into play on that. And we've got good players. We're pressuring the quarterback, making it tough on them. Even if we got one sack. I think Malik had the one sack this week, but he did a good job of getting the ball out, but didn't have a lot of time to get the ball out too, and that always helps on 3rd down.
This is your 5th must-win game in a row. You're going up to Western. They're 1-5 in the conference, 1-9 over. How do you keep the team from looking at that one win in that column?
Same message as last week. I got the same question in here last week. Is I don't think our guys are concerned with that. I mean, I know that we can control what we do from the rest of the season. Really, our future's in our hands, and that's how we play. So it doesn't really matter unless we go up and we play well this weekend. And so that chip on our shoulder is still there, and I still think that we've got our best football in front of us to play. And I think that that's what, when we came off the field, players and coaches, we felt that way on Saturday. It could have been better, and that was the focus yesterday, and we'll get back to work to chase that tomorrow.
Would that be more of a concern if you had a younger squad? Your top 22 are pretty better.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think that they've been through it. You know, they've not been in this situation as far as the wins go, but they're a mature group, and so I don't think that they're caught up in. I think our motto's been, and going back to the military, which was our kind of message all last week, is Jamie, who's the part of the Marines that came in here. Part of his message was we're not doing this to win a few games. You do all this to win championships. It's not to win 4 or 5 or be 6-4. And so I think that that's the feeling that this leadership group and these seniors have, and we got to rely on them. We've talked about that too. I think that great teams are player led, and this one is, and so I expect nothing but their best this week.
Do you have an injury? Davis went out of the game midway through the third quarter and didn't return. Was he injured?
No, he wasn't injured. His elbow pad or his elbow brace he's had that at least once a game. It kind of comes loose, and he's got to come back, and they got to tighten it up. And then Romir got going a little bit, and we had a lead, and so probably in those last few series, if we wanted to run Javon or the Wildcat or do some different things, but I wanted to see those younger guys. We pulled 2 linemen out and got some guys some reps in there, but that was it. We wanted to go pick up some first downs and go score too with those guys in there, and we didn't get it done. We had to punt a couple times there late, but DJ's fine.
After Illinois State, you're 2-4, and that was the halfway mark of the season. So what happened between Illinois State and Youngstown State to make you a different football team?
To be honest with you, I don't think we're that much better, or that we're better. We've grown each week, and we continue to get better. And I think that's what good teams have to do, is they have to see, how you're playing, what you're doing well, what you're not doing well, what you can grow on. But I think when you look back at those games, number one, we played without DJ and we played without Jeremy. Getting those guys back definitely gave us a boost. I don't think that I did a good job in those games offensively. I think that when you look back at South Dakota State, there's been a lot of just grind it out. That defense is tough. We got the lead 10-9 at halftime, and then just didn't finish. Those 6 or 8 plays that we've been making, we didn't make in those games. When we get the onside kick against Illinois State and it's 14-7, we score, we onside kick, we get it. We've been going down and hitting those explosive plays, the last 4 or 5 weeks, and we didn't in that game. We faked the field goal, which would have tied the game, and we didn't convert it, and it was open. So, we knew we had a good team then. We just didn't get the wins in those back-to-back games against 2 top 10 teams. When the rankings come out, our 3 losses are to number 14, number 8, number 9, and so we felt like we had a good team. We just had to put something together, and the guys stuck together, and we've won a few games in a row here, and we got to keep it going.
How has Romir developed since the beginning of the year? Where has he had the most improvement?
I mean, he's been consistent since training camp, really. He's going to be, I've said that, if you probably go back to training camp or week 1, I mean, Romir is going to be a pretty good one around here. DJ gets the bulk of the carries, and Javon gets his reps, and then Romir gets in there and does a lot of good things on probably 10 carries or less. But Romir's a kind of guy too that will just get better with time. I think that he's a guy, as you see his career go on, will carry the ball 20 plus times. A lot of times, he's thick, he's tough, he can run for your 3 and 4 yards, but then you can see that he's had some explosive runs. And so he's just going to continue to get better. I mean, he's got the right attitude, he's got the right makeup, and so I think he's been consistent since he got here.
Piggyback on what Mike said a while ago, your top 22 is an older group of players. He's addressed the confidence level of the team right now after this 4 game streak.
No, I think they're a confident group. I think that, and anytime you get the reinsurance of winning some and seeing, reaping the rewards of your hard work, it's just not hard work. I think there's a lot of teams out there that play hard and work hard and practice, and you come off the practice field and say you work hard, but you got to go execute, and they're executing at a high level, and that's what we've been preaching as a coaching staff, and that's what wins, is the small fundamental things, and when you continue to do them with good players, you're gonna put yourself in good positions, and don't beat yourself. We've been haven't been penalized a ton in the 2 losses that we were, especially at Illinois State. We were uncharacteristic as far as our penalties go, but anytime you got 3 penalties for 30 yards and we continue to do that, then we're going to put ourselves in good position, and I think that they have confidence that they're going to go out there and execute at a high level.
You and your offensive staff, Coach, with your running game, you guys look like you know what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate that. No, I you got to be balanced. I've said that, all along. We feel like we have weapons on the outside. We feel like, Kilby's been out for a couple weeks, and, Correa, I felt like played at a high level last week, but with Correa, we can't have those turnovers in the second half, or that could have been an entirely different outcome right there, and he's got to learn from it. So. Maybe it's a good thing that happened to reel him in, and really that's for him to take the next step, is to stay away from those, and then you go and put together a complete game. And so he continues to get better. I think he continues to show that he's getting on the same page as me with the play caller and what we're wanting, and understanding what his strengths and weaknesses are, and putting in plans. So I think it's all about staying balanced. We've said that from day one. I think you got to be able to run the football to be successful in the play action game. I don't care what sport you're putting on, you don't see a team just drop back pass. You just don't see 5-step drop, and you see it some, but it's eight or 9 times a game out of 75 plays. It's play action. You got to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to stay ahead of the chains. I don't care if you put on Oklahoma or what; they rarely drop back pass. It's, screens, and then when the opportunity is there, there's explosive plays in the pass game. And so, it was our first game. We didn't give up a sack, which was important. The ball came out, and we protected, and we threw it the most we had in a while. So that was good to see, and give credit to our offensive line as well.
And you implied, it seems that it's obvious to people that know the sport that everything is connected. It's almost like the thread of the running game is as important as the running game is.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, that's in what you did, and we do I just got done with our self scout each week, as seeing what your tendencies are. Out of what formations, or what you're doing the most, and so trying to think about what that defensive coordinator, what your tendencies are, and you can't. We've said that too, once you get to week 11, you're going to do a lot of the same stuff, and it's about executing at a high level, and they know what's coming, and you just got to do it better than them. And then there's some things that you got to put your guys in the best position, and we always try to do that as an offensive staff. But again, it all comes down to, if you can line up and run the football with your basic schemes, you're going to give yourself a chance to win.
Coach, have you felt any sense of achievement in the past few weeks, getting wins 5 and 6 after the first few years struggling to get past 4?
No, I mean, I think that anybody that knows me, or even these guys in the locker room, this staff, I mean, like I said, I'm proud of our guys for getting to where they're at, but we didn't set out on this thing to be 6-6 or 6-4. The standards of the program are to win championships, and we're still building towards that. But I do think that we're working our way to be that. I think this is a really good football team. Now, unless we go out there and do it again this week, then those don't really matter. So it's they've taken on that saying just being 1-0. That's really all that matters. Is Western Illinois is the only thing in our vision right now that could not allow us to go and do what we want to do this season. So our focus is totally on that, and like Mike said, and when you have a mature group, you trust that that's all they're thinking about.
How
Do
much?
you feel you should be a playoff team if you win this game, regardless what happens game 12?
Well, I'm excited that we have 2 games left. Like I said, we got to go up there and take care of business this week against a good football team that's played teams close. It's a tough place to play. Our team will hear that. I think we were ranked number 1 or 2 in the country when my senior year. We won 10-9, and they weren't a playoff team, and it was a grind. And we had to get a big stop down in the red zone. And I know we felt awesome getting on that bus and riding back, winning 10-9. Didn't matter, and so you never know what type of weather you're going to get up there, what type of game, and so. But yeah, I feel like we're a top 24 team in my opinion. With our conference, I think that we beat each other up, and there's a lot of really good teams in here that sometimes don't get the credit for the wins that you get when you look, and they might be 5-4, 4-5, or whatever they are, but they're really good teams. And I think sometimes we went on the road and beat an FBS team. There's only 3 teams in the FCS that have FBS wins this year. We're one of those. And then I feel like if you put on the film, we played Arkansas State pretty tough. We're right down there with the chance to make it a 6-point game with 4 minutes to go. At the 4-yard line, we had 6 trips to the red zone that didn't get points. And so I think we're a good football team. I think that if we don't go up there and win this weekend, then we're not talking about any of this. So that's got to be our focus.
How big a part of the conversation is playoffs, man?
We haven't talked about it at all with our team. I think that they're not these 18 to 22-year-olds now. They're on their phone 24/7, so they're not silly. But that we haven't talked about it. They understand. We go and keep winning, and you keep playing, and they understand what that is.
Have you talked to Coach Gill since he left about your surge here at the last part of the year? What has he said?
Yeah, I've talked to him. I talk to him usually once a week, text or call, or heck, he called me on the field after South Dakota, and so Jeff Jones gave me the phone, and so yeah, he's always dialed in and knows what we're doing, and I'm excited for him, and they've gotten a couple big wins since he's been out there, so he's always rooting for Saluki sports, period, and so I know he's watching.
Coach, what exactly do you have with number 15?
I think he's the most talented. He's one of the most talented football players in the country. Period. Whatever class, in my opinion, he can do so many things. It's the one we dropped back past him, and they played coverage on it or dropped back, and he made a great decision. He ran the ball for 25 or 27 yards, and so it's hard to defend because he can do so many things. We've talked about him. He's a special athlete. He really is. He's hard to tackle. He breaks a lot of tackles. His football intelligence is up there. Just far as feel of the game. Some people have it. Javon Williams has that it, where you just put the ball in his hand, just like that, and we got to continue to grow that. That's why you put him back there. He muffed the one punt, and that bothered him. It was a tough punt to catch. He was coming up. That was a pretty good wind on Saturday going the one direction, and that ball just hung up there. So he had to keep coming, and never kept coming to him, and he muffed it. So. But you can do a lot of things with him. He could run down on kickoff, and you'll see us doing some of that stuff as we start getting here in the play. You got to put your best guys on special teams, and he's I think he can do a lot of things as good as anybody.
Anything else for Coach Hill?
All right.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Joe.
it. Thanks.